Hi there, I'm Randy Patterson. This is another in a series of posts on cognitive distortions. These are ways that human beings routinely misperceive the world around us. We're looking here at the screen between external reality and the world we perceive and how reality changes on the way in. In the last post, I talked about a psychic power that we don't actually have: fortune telling. We predict the future, and then we react as though it had already happened. Today, it's another psychic power that you also don't have: mind reading. Human beings are social animals. We're more like dogs than cats. We function well in groups. We don't do too well in solitary confinement, like locked in a room watching YouTube. One reason that we have such large brains relative to our body weight is that we have to deal with the incredible complexity of social interaction. We act in a certain way, other people react, then we react to them, and it's all pretty subtle. It takes years of practice to do it well. All that time you wasted playing with the other kids when you were younger, that wasn't a waste, that was practice. That was learning. But no matter how much practice you have, you still cannot read other people's minds. You put on a rainbow striped sweater or a pair of sweatpants or your best makeup job or a top hat or your old painting clothes or your motorcycle jacket, and you go out. And what are people thinking of you? You don't actually know. You ask to use the washroom in the lobby of a fancy hotel. Or maybe you request a change of table at a restaurant. You tell your boss about the spelling mistakes in her email. You suggest to your best friend that a destination wedding in South Dakota in February is a lousy idea. What do these people think? How are they reacting to you? You don't actually know. Even after they respond to you, you can still wonder, what did she really think? Because we don't have access to other people's inner thoughts, they always remain something of a mystery to us. Does your kid love you? Does your dad respect your career choice? Is your partner thinking of leaving you? Does your best friend roll her eyes whenever you turn your back? This makes other people's inner thoughts an ambiguous stimulus, like a gray curtain, and you're not sure what's going on behind it. Take a look at this. What is it? A hammer. You've seen these before. You know what they look like. There's no ambiguity. Maybe it's not clear why I'm bringing it out. What's my motivation? What am I going to do with this thing? But the hammer itself, not ambiguous. There's only so many ways you can interpret this object. A person's thoughts, though? Now those are ambiguous. One option for you is to leave them that way. Whatever, don't know what they're thinking, There's an old saying, what other people think of me is none of my business. I am not going to waste my time trying to guess. Now, the other option is to try to fill in the blanks, eliminate the ambiguity, really think about what might be going on inside them, and maybe pick one possibility as the best option. And maybe then presume that you've got it right, and then react to what's going on inside their head as though you really know, even though you don't. You don't respect me. You think I'm crazy. You're planning to leave me. You're planning to fire me. You're gaslighting me on purpose. You just keep me around for what you can get out of me. And how you feel and what you do is based not on what's actually going on inside their head, but what you've decided you believe is going on inside their head, which may or may not be the same thing. How do we fill in these gaps when we're faced with an ambiguous situation? We don't realize it, but we tend to fill them in with the contents of our own mind, not theirs. For example, maybe we're feeling furious in this situation, and when we look at them, we think, they're furious. Maybe we're afraid of being fired, and we look at them, we think, they're planning to fire me. Sigmund Freud gets a lot of flack, but he had a lot of real insight too. And he called this projection. The blank screen is out there, right? The face of our partner or boss or friend or a stranger. The film isn't out there. It's back here with me in the projection booth. It's mine. But when I look out at that person, I'm projecting that image from inside my head onto that blank screen. Look at it there. What is that? Oh, it's Dirty Harry. It's Alien. It's Star Wars. It's Apocalypse Now. No, it isn't. It's just a blank screen. All those images aren't from out there. They're coming from inside the house. We read people's minds, we guess what they're thinking or feeling, and then we react as if those guesses were reality. When really, they often say more about us than them. And how do they react? Well, the thing is, they know the truth. They know what's actually going on inside, more or less, as much as any of us know what we're thinking. And if you get it wrong, even by a little bit, they will tell you, no, that's not how I think. No, I'm not feeling that. Even if you're right, they can still deny it because they know you can't really see inside the box, and you will never be able to prove it to them. Mind reading is a great way to produce misery for ourselves. We can imagine that all the people around us are thinking all kinds of things, mostly about us, and it's usually something bad. This is a big problem, for example, with people prone to extreme social anxiety. When they're around other people, they engage in mind reading without realizing that they're doing it. She thinks I'm an idiot and he's judging my shoes, and they are repulsed by my appearance. And they suffer the emotional consequences as though people had actually said those things, and as though the opinions of everyone else were more important than their own. Sometimes people feel that just walking down the street, everyone for blocks around are staring at them and judging them. We would be less concerned with what others think of us if we knew how seldom they do. Mostly, other people are not that focused on us. They're not interested or invested enough to be evaluating every single thing we do. The self-consciousness comes to a great extent from projection. We feel conspicuous and awkward and out of place, and we project that outward, imagining that everyone around us is thinking exactly what we imagine they're thinking. And there is some truth to it. There is someone thinking those things, but it's us. When we're mind reading, we're hearing something real, the echoes of our own brain, and we misinterpret those as coming from other people. As with all of these distortions, there's a reminder that you can use when you suspect this one might be operating. Stay in your own head. You're not telepathic. You can't read minds. You can only pretend that you can read minds. So you might as well stay in your own head. My books, including the Assertiveness Workbook, How to Be Miserable and How to Be Miserable in Your 20s, are all available from bookstores and online booksellers. There's information about each of them at randypatterson.com, and my online courses can be found at psychologysalon.teachable.com. Thanks for watching.